It's Saturday, and there are few things I just want to update you here. Number one, it's today I got the opportunity to deal with a real world situation whereby an online retailer essentially failed in their promise to deliver. And what and to make matters worse was that the partner that this online retailer partnered with was not being responsive. And so the online retailer partnered with a courier company, and the item that I ordered was not delivered. And when I made a check with the courier company, they informed me that the item is likely to be lost or damaged. Later on, they revealed that it could likely be a case of theft. And so they were conducting an investigation, which they say would take 1 or 2 working days to complete. And that was on the Wednesday. 1 to 2 working days would have passed because on Friday, it would have been the end of that 1 to 2 working days. And as of today, they still have not sent a representative either via email, call, or anything to get in touch with me. And every time I had to initiate the call to inquire what was going on with my package itself. And it left me with no other recourse except to start the process going. So the process that I started was essentially to make a public service announcement that, and I shared it on my Facebook, my personal Facebook, that if anyone is considering buying anything that is of a high value item from this online retailer, they really want to think twice. Reason is because this item that I ordered was in fact a high value added or high value item. And as a result that the item was lost. And and so if you are buying anything from this online retailer and if it's of a high value item, you're better off buying directly from the manufacturer or from the brand itself. Um, it gives me no pleasure to mention this in public because I think everyone deserves a chance. That say, if they continually fail to initiate any kind of response or conversation or to keep us updated about what's going on, then it leaves me with no choice but to take a series of actions to protect my own interests. Because this item was not a $20 product. This item, it's a 400 over dollars product. Yes, it may not be a huge amount of money, but it's also not a small amount of money. And the fact was that this item was ordered last Friday on the 27th of November. And as of today, I have yet to receive the item. And that really leaves an extremely unpleasant experience with this online retailer and specifically with their courier partner. And why is that related to today's topic? Well, today's topic is about why create. And I mentioned in my post that writers write, actors act, singers sing, and so a creator creates. But the question is why? And this goes back to a story, or I'd like to share with you a story about myself. The story was like this, and this story is a little bit of a negative, the flip side of things. So, what happened was I have been, up until 2013, right? I have been smoking for more than 20 over years. And what happened was I see myself as a smoker. And so my daily schedule, believe it or not, my daily schedule, it's kind of designed around the habit because I would know like I need to get up at a certain time because I would want to get breakfast. And as I get breakfast itself, I would want to get a cigarette. And then, I would like to go for lunch slightly earlier so that I can get a cigarette and then go for lunch and then I get a cigarette again, so on and on. So my life, my schedule was designed around that. And so much so that when I was trying to quit, I faced a huge impediment. And the reason why I faced a huge impediment was because I was not able to, I was not able to, quit because for one, the chemical side of things gives me that withdrawal. And so every time I, wanted to stay away from cigarette, I would start having that crave. And more often than not, I would actually give into it. On top of that, there was this other aspect that it was just habitual. So the chemical part of it, it's just one thing. The other part is habitual, right? Like for example, after every meal, you would have a cigarette, and it becomes a habit. And so much so that until 2013, that was when we had our second child. And my main focus was I want to be a dad who is able to not just be healthy and energetic enough to play with my children, but I also want to live long enough to be able to see them grow up, get married, have kids, whatsoever, right? And so that need or the desire to want to stay healthy became so strong. And in 2013, I decided to break the habit together with a friend. And together, both of us decided that on the end of the 31st of December was our cutoff date, which means the next morning, when we wake up in the new year, we are smoke free. And for some reason, this time around, it happened. In other words, in the past, I even make a joke out of quitting. I say that, well, I've quit quitting. And so in the past, I would quit and I'd probably last for like 2 or 3 days, but then I would go back to the habit again. But this time around, it was not only just possible, but I became so obsessed with it that I didn't even think about smoking. On top of that, I became so disgusted with the smell of cigarette smoke, and I just cannot fathom the habit or imagine myself picking up a cigarette ever again. And with the exception of one event, with the exception of that one event, that day onwards, I have never ever picked up a cigarette again, and I would not going forward. And so, what has changed was a few things, right? One was that I credit everything that is positive, everything that is possible through God, right? So, God, it's that power that gave me that ability to be able to make this change. And God gave me that wisdom to be able to put in place all the mechanisms and processes to help me make that change. So, what are the mechanisms and processes that I'm talking about? Let's take this, you know, one step at a time. First, it was that commitment and it was that desire that I want, I want to grow old enough to see my kids. I want to give my daughter away, on her wedding day. I want to be able to walk her down the aisles, for example. I want to see her grow up. I want to see my son grow up. I want to see my son do lots and lots of things, right, with his life. And so the motivation was huge. On top of that, I make one switch, and that one switch was in the past I used to see myself as a smoker. So what does a smoker do? A smoker smokes. And so even if you say that I am an ex smoker, the identity is still attached to the self. And having that realization, I then decided that I'm not going to call myself an ex smoker. Instead, I'm going to call myself a healthy person. And so, what does a healthy person do? A healthy person would eat healthily, would live healthily, would drink healthily, and would not put anything that could potentially be harmful into his or her body. It is just incongruent with my identity or my newfound identity. So the motivation was great. The the identity made a shift. And of course, with all that, a conscious effort of changing the habit was um, came to light because instead of organizing my day around the habit, I organize my day around the fact that I want to stay healthy. And so there are certain times of the day that I would exercise, certain times of the day that I will meditate, there's certain times of the day I will do a series of stuff just so that I am able to live out that life of a healthy person. And so, why does that relate to our topic here? So, the question is, why do creators create? Well, for one, creators create because it is their identity. You, as someone who is creative, you, as someone who has the expertise, who have the knowledge, who have the skill set, who have the experience. You want to be able to create things or create products or create knowledge products that it's able to allow other people to tap into your knowledge even without you being there. And so one part of it is the identity. The other part of it is it's a habit. If you are a runner, you run. And so you would design your life around your running habits. You would not stay up late because you are going to have a early morning run. You would not you would not drink the night before if you're going to have a run the next day because you want to have that optimal performance in terms of your running. You want to make sure that that performance it's of a certain level, and so you will not do things that will harm the body. Instead, you will do things that will enhance the performance of your run. And so likewise, as a creator, your life revolves around creating, and everything that you see it through the eyes of a creator. For example, for me, everything I see is through the eyes of a person, that one person business, that one person or digital business. And in that viewpoint, in that worldview itself, I'm constantly asking myself, what does that mean to someone who is a one person or digital business? What does that look like? Or what does that mean? And and so the other aspect of it is that it isn't just the habit, it isn't just the you live your life around that. You would also want to be able to pick up skills to enhance your creation. In other words, your life, your identity, your belief, your capability, as well as the behavior revolves around create, creating. And finally, one key factor that made that change possible for me to go from someone who smokes heavily to someone who completely it's intolerant of cigarette. That shift itself was made also possible through the support of a Christian brother. And I would credit that to that factor to a large degree because without that support, there were many times that I was tempted to fall back on the habit because of tough times. Likewise, as a creator, you would also want to be part of a community, a group of people, or at least one person who is able to help you or to give you the support that understands you, gives you the support and encourage you, even call you out if need to, so that you can adhere to the identity and be who you're meant to be. And so, my friends, creators create. And if you see yourself as a creator, the question I have for you is, what are you creating? Because what I'm creating is a one person, 1 million all digital business. What about you? With that, I thank you so much for watching. I hope this has been helpful. If it has, please leave me a comment. Let me know that it has been helpful. And if you want more content like this, make sure you subscribe to the channel, follow me live here on Facebook. Now, if you're wondering, today I'm just experimenting with the lighting again. As you can see, this part here, it's darker. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I thought today's topic, it's something that it's very, very personal. And I wanted to be able to have the lighting reflect that level of seriousness and focus, if you like. And so I decided that, I'm gonna keep this part of the room not lit up, but this part that is lit up. Well, let me know what you think, whether it's this lighting natural, or is this lighting so obvious that it's like, I don't know. I'm still experimenting. And like I said, I never see myself as the know all be all expert when it comes to live streaming. I'm constantly learning and I'm always learning and experimenting. And so if you want to see how it has evolved, make sure you join this channel and hit me up on Twitter, because that's how we can build a community. That's how we can support one another. And with that, I thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye bye.